Here with Miami coach Anthony Noreen ahead of this week's matchup against Robert Morris, and we will take some questions.
Coach, coming off a great weekend, a pair of sweeps closer Friday night, and then Saturday night just didn't let off the gas, a 4-1 final score. So kind of your thoughts as you look back to a weekend of 2 wins.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously in the scheme of things, it's 2 wins. You'll take it. It's what we want, what we need for this program. I thought Friday we had and again, I think part of it is credit Alaska. I thought they had a really good start on Friday. Not such a good start for us on Friday night. I thought we got better as the game went. Obviously, score a big power play goal at the end of the first. And then I thought what was really good about Friday night was this team kind of having to feel being in that tight game late with, a little bit of a tough situation where you're killing a 5-on-3 and then you're killing 6-on-4 and then you're killing again. Obviously, that's not ideal. You don't want to put yourself in those situations, but I think it's good specifically for this group. And we talked about it after the game. That's maybe felt a lot of those go the other way. I think it was good for us to feel a tight game and in what it's like to close that out. And then I thought on Saturday we had a much better start. Wish we would have been better to close out the game in the third. I think what a really good team does and what elite teams do is you have that killer instinct in the third, and instead of 4-0, it's 5-6-7 and game over, and you're putting it out of hand. Now, I still thought we did enough, and we kept them to the outside. We did a good job. Obviously, we got the 5-minute kill. We scored a power play goal again. There was a lot of good. There's still a lot of room for growth. We need to get better, and I think we've made some good strides towards that the last couple of days of practice.
We talked post-game on Saturday about sort of the difference in the start on Friday versus the start on Saturday. Now that you've had some time to digest, you started out the first and second period on Saturday ready to go. What was the key to them coming out and firing on all cylinders right from the start?
I mean, I think just the mindset and mentality of the guys sitting in the room. Again, really easy for us to say something, another thing for them to grab it and take it. And again, to me, there's certain things in the game that are mental. There's certain things that are physical. That to me is just a thing that's 100% mental. You're ready to go when the puck drops, and you find that kind of way. And to me, it's a constant evaluation of a self and as a team of, I am good when what did I feel like going into the game? What was my preparation like? What did I sleep like the night before? What was my warm-up like? Was I loose and joking around? Was I uptight? Was I, and then how did I start? What was my game like? Okay, if it was good and I really liked it, I find that and I duplicate it. If I, thought that I didn't have a great start or maybe didn't show up on time, what can I do better? What can I change? And again, I think the last 2 weekends now, we didn't, we liked our Saturday way better than Friday. So we got to start learning some lessons on that. And as a staff, you start looking at, okay, what are we doing that game one morning? Morning skate versus not, things like that. So I think that's one of the good things about early season is you're kind of trying to find out what works for the group and for certain individuals. And again, I don't think that's ever going to be perfect, but you try and make strides towards it every time you have a game. And to me, like I said, those things are usually mental.
A lot of times you hear about learning how to win. And I think both of these games last weekend were games in which there were learning opportunities to learn how to win. How much stock do you put into that, and how much did they learn in closing out, bending, not breaking in that close game on Friday, and then able to give up the one in the third, but really to close out that Saturday game? Yeah,
and listen, I know probably just like any other coach, you hear me talk a lot about our identity and our process and things like that, but winning matters. Like, winning matters in life. It just does. There's winners in everything. And there's a reason why when you watch us practice, the first thing we do when we go on the ice is usually some type of competition and the losing team skates. And we just want to ingrain in these guys, we need to be competitive. It matters to win. If it doesn't go your way, you've got to learn from it. But I think guys needed to feel that. And it's something we've talked about from the second we arrived is you've got to act like winners before you win. And I think that's something these guys have done a really good job of, just and how we carry ourselves off the ice, weight room, locker room, the way we act, things like that. I think we've done that. Now it's being in those moments and feeling and finding out what you're made of in those moments. And I think we've had some really good tight moments early in the season here where we've had some adversity and we've had to face it, whether it was having a slow start, having a good start, getting into penalty trouble, being down late against Ferris, things like that. I think that's all part of what you take and you put in the bank and you learn from and you draw on in the future. But it's really good for a team to be in those situations, especially early on in the season.
Schedule looks a little bit different this weekend with a Thursday game and a Saturday game. How does that, if at all, affect kind of routine? We've talked about it before, how hockey players, coaches can be a little bit monotonous in their routine, but how does that affect anything, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, I would think probably a lot like in football when there's a Thursday game or a Monday game and kind of short work week, long work week. Obviously for us, it was a short work week, thankfully coming off being at home. So Sunday was kind of an off rest day, and then getting right to it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of condensing but not trying to overdo. And you're trying to kind of find that sweet spot of, hey, let's get in everything we need to get in, all the things that we think are important, both for us and Robert Morris. But let's make sure that we're fresh come Thursday night. So again, I think it's trying to find that balance both on the ice and in the weight room. Having said that, I think for as much as you love to be in your routine, you want to play games. So like, I think for all of us, it was like, you get done with that game on Saturday. Yeah, you need some rest, but like, you want to play a game again. And I'm sure Robert Morris is thinking the same thing. And again, especially this time of the season, to have that little bit shorter of a week and get right into games, to be back on home ice tomorrow night, I think it's something we're all excited for.
You were the visiting team for Ferris State's home opener. You're going to be the visiting team for Robert Morris's home opener on Saturday. How do you kind of, I guess, learn from that first experience to going into Robert Morris on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think you want to be in, hostile environments and against tough teams on the road. I think you, as much as home ice is great, you find out, I think, about yourself every time you play. I think you really become a team and find out what you're made of on the road when you're in tough situations against tough teams. And it's not just, the other team, but a fan base and things like that. I think to me, it's where I've seen teams come together the most, is in either closing things out at home where they really get to feel what it's like in front of their home crowd and enjoying that, and being on the road where it's just kind of you against the world and nobody else really there to help you. So again, we're focused on tomorrow, but I think it'll be a really good opportunity for us again on Saturday when we head to Robert Morris.
Looking at Robert Morris, they've got some good young talent on the team. Joining them are a good number of transfers that they've got, and some inexperience maybe between the pipes, and that their goalie with the most experience is a transfer, was at D3 a couple of years ago, and is now there, and then two freshmen who have no experience. And this being their first game of the year, what sort of challenges does that provide for you in that there's not a lot of tape on these guys all playing together?
Yeah, I mean, we were able to watch their exhibition games, which they had 3 of, and again, pull some things that we think our guys absolutely need to know. But we're still in that about us. Like, we're still figuring ourselves out and trying to tighten up and sharpen up what we're doing without, trying to cloudy that with another team. And listen, we've got a lot of respect for Robert Morris. Obviously, it's a hockey-rich area with a really good coach who's been there for a long time and has had a lot of success at this level. And we know they're going to field a good team. We know they're going to be structured from what we saw. No different than what we saw with the previous 2 teams. They're gonna have. There are ways that they're going to challenge you. Having said that, again, we're going to find the key things, but we're not going to make it about them. We're going to make it about us. And again, I think maybe you get to a point probably later in the season where, hey, you're seeing a team for the 3rd, 4th time. You're late. You know what they're doing. They know what you're doing, and it gets a little bit more into that stuff for a playoff series. But, I'm sure for them right now, they're way more focused on them than they are us, and rightfully so. So let's be better at the things we thought that we could have been better at Saturday night. Let's grow on, and build on some of the things that we thought we did well on Saturday night. And I do think there's some things within our game that have taken steps in the right direction. I also think there's some things without a doubt that need to sharpen up, and then we need to continue to build on.
Coach, one final thing in the bigger scope of the hockey world, college hockey world anyway, the talk of the CHL potentially being allowed to have their players, Canadian junior players, coming in to play U.S. college hockey. You come from that unique perspective of having been a junior hockey coach just the last few years, and now you're on the college ranks as well, so you've got a perspective of both sides. So your thoughts on what would happen if the CHL, probably not if, when the CHL players are going to be allowed to come? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's like a lot of the ever-changing landscape in college hockey where you have to be prepared for it. And if you're not, shame on you. And it's whatever you're feeling. It doesn't matter if you love it, you hate it, you're against it, you think it's great, whatever. You need to be prepared for it if you want to stay ahead or get, or get ahead or whatever it might be at this level. So it's something we're certainly keeping our eye on. It's something we're certainly going to be prepared for if and when it goes through. I think it's probably inevitable at this point. And I think what it does is it opens up a pool of a whole new group of players to college hockey. And what's going to be interesting is, you're potentially limiting rosters, which is already going to take some guys out of the pool. And then you're introducing a whole new player pool of players. And I think it's just going to make spots on Division I college hockey teams even harder to come by. And I think it's going to make competition even harder and better. And again, like I said, it's something we're just day by day here. You're trying to make sure that you're prepared, as I'm sure most college teams are. And if and when it does come through, we have a plan. We'll have a list. We know what potentially guys, programs, things like that we might be interested in, and we'll also kind of keep in our normal footprint recruiting wise. Thanks, guys.
Here with Colby Ambrosio, Miami back in action this week with Robert Morris, and we will take some questions.
Hey, Colby. First off, welcome to Miami. Great to have you here for the first time. So talk about the first couple of weeks being with a new program and some of the successes that you've seen and hoping to maybe turn this program around.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. Obviously, it's been an easy change. I think, with the guys that we have here and the new coaching staff, it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed my time here, but yeah, I think we're off to a really good start. But we're going to continue to work hard and keep pushing this program forward.
You get to come in at a time where there's a coaching change, so kind of everything's a fresh slate when you come in here as well. So, but you've worked with Coach Noreen in the past too, so you get to play with him during junior hockey. So, what's it like being with him now versus when you were with him back in the past?
Yeah, it's the same. I think he brings the same stuff to the table like he always does. He approaches every day the same. He wants everyone to work hard. He wants us to win, obviously. But the thing about him that I think I admire the most is that he's a perfect definition of a player's coach. He'll never center anyone out. He'll always talk to them individually, kind of tell them, what they could be doing better, what he sees. But he's awesome. I've said this before, but there's no other guy I'd rather play for. For me, it was a no-brainer when I went in the transfer portal to come play here. Because I know that he was going to be the head coach. Not to say that. Disrespecting any other teams by any means, but, I just have a really good relationship with him and love him as a coach and a person. So,
Colby, the line or your line mates that you're on the power play unit together, you're on the even strength line together with Matt Chupani and Johnny Waldron, you seem to gel instantly. And first time playing together, how has that come together so quickly?
Yeah, it's been good. I think we started on a line in practice kind of leading up to our first game and stuff like that. And I think we all just understand the way we play, which helps. I think we're all, different players, bring different things to the table. And I think that's why we gel so well together.
Your ability to create on that line, I think stems from my perspective on your ability to create time and space and help your teammates by creating that time and space. It was especially evident on that first goal last Saturday when you were able to just kind of weave your way through. Walk me through how you're able to create that space.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think you learn from a young age to kind of play with your eyes up and not down. So, I think just having my head up, trying to maneuver my way around defenders. It makes it really easy with the players I'm playing with too. Like they create a lot of time and space for me. It's not just me doing that. So. The speed that they bring kind of shifts and brings defenders towards them, which kind of opens more space for me. So I think it's just the guys I'm playing with, and the passes I get too. It's not just me going end to end or doing that stuff. I know I'm just trying to get open for the guys on the team, and I know that they're going to put on my tape because they're all good players. So
you played at BC with a lot of future NHL stars. I'm just wondering kind of what your experience with them was and how that's helped you since coming here.
Yeah, I just kind of like you said, I played with some unbelievable talents there at BC. And just watching them every day, kind of, how they approach the game, the things they do on and off the ice is something that I've taken with me. But I think the biggest thing for me was kind of just watching them in practice and the things they do. It's just like the little skills, of the details that they bring every day. Obviously, watching that day after day for 4 years is obviously going to help you improve. So I think for me, I was kind of just Not in like a weird way or anything like that, but I was always kind of just watching, what they would do on the ice and off the ice and how they would take care of their body, and I'm just trying to emulate that in my game as well.
It's a little bit different this weekend, the schedule, home and home. What have you guys seen from your game that you think has been the best, your biggest strength, and also something that you guys can improve on going into this weekend?
Yeah, I think we've shown that we can push the pace pretty well. I think we got a really fast team here, and we've got some high offense, and I think the good thing about us is that any line can produce. It's not just one line. We got a team that is filled with hard workers, but a lot of guys with skill. So I think we've been really good at pushing the pace, bringing a lot of offense, and turning the puck up right away. But I think something that we can work on. I think it's pretty evident for a lot of teams is just being detailed in the D zone. I know for me especially, there's times where I've lost my guide and need to kind of have my head on a swivel in those areas. But I think just being more detailed in the D zone, obviously that's going to lead to better offense. So
Right now, you've got 2 goals, 7 points total. That's second in the country through these first 2 weeks of the regular season. A year ago in BC, you had 2 goals, 8 points total. So what's the difference in your role from last year at BC to what you're doing this year?
yeah, I think at BC last year my role was I was kind of like a role player, like a third liner, fourth liner type of player where just bring a lot of speed, be good in the O zone, and try and do my job in the D zone, and not let any goals get scored on me. But like what was mentioned before, there were a lot of really good players at BC last year. So when you have a lot of good players on a team, there's going to be certain roles that you're going to have to adjust to. So yeah, I think just like what I was saying, I was kind of like a third liner, fourth liner type of player where I was trying to push the pace every night, trying to bring energy. But here, obviously, I played with Noreen and Tibbs before, and they kind of know my game and what I can bring. And, obviously, they have a lot of respect for my game, and I have a lot of respect for them. So I'm just trying to do my best with the minutes that they're giving me. I'm very grateful for that. Obviously, never take that for granted, but I'm just trying to do my best with all the minutes that they're giving me.
Looking ahead to Robert Morris tomorrow, you've got a team that has not played a regular season game yet this year. They've played 3 exhibitions, but that doesn't provide a whole lot of tape on live regular season games. So what kind of challenges does that bring, and how do you sort of expect, how do you go into this game with expectations, having this be their first game of the year?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily there would be any challenges that would arise out of that, just like not watching them. I think we all know that if it's going to be their first game of the season, they're going to be ready. They're going to want to come out full force. So honestly, I think we just got to keep playing our game, keep doing what we're doing, pushing the pace, being good, detailed in the O zone and in D zone. But obviously, we know that they're a really good team, and we're not taking that lightly whatsoever.
One final question, Colby, and this is maybe a little bit bigger than just Miami, a little bit bigger than the game. When we were up at Ferris State, I saw one of your sticks up there, and you had written, just kind of handwritten on the tape at the top of the stick, the initials JG. Obviously, probably anybody who knows hockey knows that you were a Boston College guy at one point. Johnny Gdo, I'm guessing that's what that meant. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's a tragedy what happened. It's obviously really sad. You don't want that to happen ever with anyone, and it still doesn't feel real. But yeah, for me personally, I was Johnny Gdo was one of my favorite players ever. He was pretty much the main reason why I ended up choosing BC, because obviously he was a smaller, skilled forward, someone who I looked up to. It's just on and off the ice, he was just such a great person, is what I heard. Unfortunately, I never really got to meet him. He sent us like videos as like wishing us luck and stuff like that. But I know a lot of guys that know him really well, and the coaches at BC obviously coached him too. So yeah, he's just an unbelievable player, unbelievable person, and someone I look up to. And I think just for me, I'm kind of this year and so on is kind of for him. The inspiration that he gave me, growing up and still to this day was unbelievable. And I'm just trying to do this for him now. I know he's obviously inspired a lot of young players and even older players that are playing right now. But yeah, that's the main reason why I got that on my stick, is because he inspired me to continue to work for my dreams and play the game that I love. And this is just obviously, like I said, it's just a sad situation. But I know that he's obviously looking down on the hockey world right now, and it's just. That's pretty much all I got right now, but he's unbelievable talent person, and it's just really sad, but, I'm doing it for him now. And I just, something, writing it down on my stick is just a little something I can do, to remind me that, hey, you're doing it for him now, and he's going to be looking down all the time. So.